Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sister Candace, Growing in Grace. I hope y'all have had a good week. I mean, here we are almost in the weekend. I have a thought, or just something that me and a friend was talking about. Well, it came up in our conversation about caregivers. And a lot of you know, and a lot of you may not know, that the pastor was injured on the job. He drove a truck for Yellow Freight, and he was a city driver. And the year we had all the snow that it shut down our interstates, there was 2 truck lines open, and they made their employees report. And it was Yellow Freight, and I can't recall the other. I don't think it was UPS. It could have been, but I'm not sure. But on his second delivery, he fell, and he was injured. And for about 2 years, we fought to get him out from under workman's comp doctors to get our own, to pick our own back spinal doctor instead of fooling and keep on fooling with workman's comp doctors. That right there is a joke. I mean, it's just a complete joke. But when we got him out from under workman's comp doctors and we were able to get him in at St. Joseph's, they did, which before at the workman's comp they had did therapy, the shots. So when we got to see the doctor at St. Joseph's, he called for an MRI of his own and other tests from his back. And then he referred us, after about 6 months, he referred us to Dr. Javed. And he was a candidate for the spinal stimulator. When I say the pastor walked around holding his knees for that 3.5 years, it's the truth. He could only go to the bathroom. He could not go to church. We finally tried to start going to church, but he was in so much pain that he could not stand it. He could not concentrate because he didn't want to take the pain medicine. Levi has said this through his injury of his back. He said, if this is a taste of what Daddy suffered, he said, Daddy's one tough man, because he said, and he never complained. But my thing is about a caregiver. So I was a caregiver for 3.5 years. And you try not to get depressed and down because you don't want them to be depressed and down. And as a man that walked every day, he delivered downtown Atlanta and worked 16 to 18 hours a day. I can't imagine being a man and cannot do anything. Mow the yard. He would sit in the window and watch me mow the yard, and he would cry because he said, I should be doing this, not you. But later on, he got the spinal stimulator. Now, did it make him be completely out of pain? No. He still was in pain, but he could stand up. That was the main thing. He could stand up straight. And done great. And God did great things, He called him to pastor a church, and so the spinal stimulator was a blessing. But back to, he was sick 10 weeks and misdiagnosed, and I was the caregiver then. I was the caregiver while I was in our local hospital. I was a caregiver when he was at UAB for 28 days. It's hard. It's mentally, physically, emotionally draining. But I said all this to say that God is our strength. And that's what me and him held on to the whole time, that I was caregiving and he was, in pain, living with an injury. So know that if you are a caregiver, that God loves you. He will give you strength. Draw from the Lord. Draw from his strength. That's our blessed hope. That's what I tell y'all all the time. And he can get you through these hard times. He got me and the pastor through it. And just know that God sees you. And he knows what you're going through and what you're dealing with if you're a caregiver. Know that I love you and I'm praying for you. But the Lord loves you so, so much more.